Hi everybody, this is the Quantanova team. Say hi Dan, say hi Simon, say hi Francois.
Hi.
Here we go. And everybody's talking about this new QWQ model, right? And yeah, it's coming out there saying that, oh, it's as good as Deepseek. It's either better than Deepseek or not better than Deepseek in some cases. And they're saying it's a 32 billion parameter model that can keep up with Deepseek. I'm not gonna bullshit you all. They're all talking shit because they don't have time to really test this thing properly. We have tested this thing properly throughout the entire day. It's Quen up to the Quenstantial nonsense again. The Alibaba team is great because we use a lot of their models as well. But when it comes to benchmarks, they cheat benchmarks, and it's been proven before. But in this sort of case, I'm going to show you real time how this works. I mean, the team's already provided a couple of questions that we're going to use to actually test this. And you know what, compared to even our 1776 version of Deepseek, but you know what, I'm going to give you guys a proper real world coding example of how we use with our little engines and our little nicks and tricks. And we're not going to show everything behind the scenes, but we're going to show you of how we code and how we use our DeepSeek models and how it actually does the job where this thing fails all the time. And I'm gonna show you how it fails all the time, because if you had to compare a brain, DeepSeek's brain is 631 billion parameters. So then let's just take the number 631. That's a big number, right? Versus 32. How many 32s do you gonna get to that 631? It's a lot, right? So there's a huge comparison. There's a huge gap. And people are all saying, "Whoa, QWQ is so good," blah 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 blah. Yes, you can run it locally. Well, if you don't have a 3090, 4090, or 5090, you can't run the sucker. It needs at least minimum 20 gigs and a Q4 quantization. But if you want to run the full model, it's about 60 gigs. You tell me, who has got 60 gigs of VRAM to run the sucker? We do. Alrighty, guys, are we gonna go through the questions? Let's give it a test. Let's see what the sucker really is all about. And yes, this is the QWQ latest version. It's not the preview version. We have tested the preview version. The preview version wasn't very good. This thing does have tool support, so maybe we'll use it for the tool side of things. But let's go. Let's get going. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna just look through the team's questions, and you know, Saman's got a cool question. Let's see how this thing thinks, because this thing is coined with questions. We want to see how it actually thinks and reasons. So if time worked in reverse for one day, what is the weirdest way it would mess with ordinary life? Let's give it a shot. Let's see. And if you want to actually see how this thing's running, there you go. It's gonna start spinning up the model now any moment. And now you can see it's dumped the models, only using one of our GPUs there. And there we go. There she goes. So right now. Okay, so I need to think about blah 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 blah. This part I'm not gonna read for everybody. You can just pause the video. But essentially, communication reversal, people might talk backwards. I really think so. Instead of saying hello, they'd say ole. So you're saying Spanish is English backwards. Wow, how funny. I don't know, what do you guys think about this question?
I thought it would be a bit more creative about its answer.
Maybe.
I don't think this is its answer. Scroll a little bit down.
Okay.
I think this is just it reasoning for itself.
Oh, okay.
It's still going.
Still going.
Yeah,
okay.
but here's the problem with it, because it's only 32 billion parameters. People don't realize that the chain of thought of how it goes through to gather each parameter only has such a long length of string, so it can't go through the full thought. And then so it thinks too long in this sort of case, because it doesn't have enough space, you could say, like an extra 3 or 4 or like 100 billion parameters to rerun that entire thing and rethink and reevaluate, is this exactly what it is. What it is doing is, it's a very smart way of thinking of running through the set bunch of information, and then immediately reflecting. So it's doing like an immediate reflection before it answers. But yeah, let's see what the final answer is. I think an example of this would be reversed effect, like affecting procedure. Okay, You know what? This thing is just talking a bunch of bullshit. I'll be honest with you. What was the last thing you did that was quite fun with 1776? So disclaimer, I actually want to tell everybody 1776, that's fine-tuned by perplexity. Here's a little bit of a warning. It hallucinates a lot. So it's not very accurate in what it does. Remember that. The fine-tuning of what they've done was great, but it hallucinates a lot. So be careful of that when you're using that model. For this model, we don't know about hallucinations if we're still going to test that. But you know what, Simon, what was that question you did with
I think it's when she asked if you were in a rap battle with Siri.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's do that same question. I think this is about right. Yeah, this is about right. So let's see. I want the team's reaction. Okay, so it's already come back very quickly. Yo Siri, you sound like a robot of the 90s. You ask for facts, but you can't find the Wi-Fi. Okay, this is not even. So there we go. And they say it's as good as Deepseek. It's not. There's no rhythm here. This is the first verse. You ask about the X. Oh no.
It says AABB rhyme, but 90s and Spice doesn't rhyme.
Yeah.
And Wi-Fi and Matrix also doesn't rhyme.
No, it's boring. It's not as fun. Not even that close. So come on. So I don't know. Audience, you decide. Is QWQ really as good as they say it is? I'll tell you from my perspective and what the team has already seen. It's Q cry because it's a bunch of bullshit.
Okay, so I need to come up with a
And look how long
Siri.
Look how long it writes instead of already just reflecting it, re-reflects, and and this is the problem that we have also with the coding.
But even in the re-reflects, it's not changing much. Like it keeps saying AABB rhyme, but it's not at the end. It's not rhyming.
Exactly. So Dan's got a cool question. Let me see.
I don't know what thing I would say about this.
I think it's gonna write a whole book on this.
So let's see. This is Dan's question. What are some of the most significant challenges facing the development of sustainable energy sources, and how might they be addressing? Right? How might these be addressed through technological innovation and policy changes? Let's see what it says. It's quite quick because it's only a 32 billion parameter model. So one thing they're missing out here is also nuclear. And what's one of the biggest things in nuclear right now that everybody's doing is thorium. So China's doing a lot of thorium power plants. It's green. It's completely green. No waste. The waste is silicon, not plutonium. So yeah, you end up with glass. And you can, this is radioactive glass, but you can break the glass down into small fibers and you can actually use that to filter your water. So,
what?
Yeah.
Conclusion. Fuel focus on innovation, storage tech, AI-driven grids, policy, carbon pricing, international cooperation, successful hinges on holistic strategies that balance technological progress with equitable governance to ensure sustainable energy transitions globally. Interesting.
I still think it's quite far off. Like, this is a Chinese model. Why hasn't it looked at the nuclear option? And that's the best. And in terms of AI right now, I mean, what is the United States doing right now? They're building more nuclear power plants to run all these GPUs. That's the honest truth. Because it sucks out so much power. I mean, you don't want to know what my electric bill looks like. You don't. It's not funny. Go to Francois. Francois got a funny question as well. And let's paste it here for everybody. Let's get that reaction here. If all of our planets in the solar system were habitable, why do you think would be the coolest place? Oh, what would be the coolest place planet to live on? Let's see.
Okay, so it actually went in the direction of
It's not saying like cool as in chilled, it's saying cool as in dope.
Which is right, which is what we want to see.
Africa, chas.
Saturn takes the cake. Okay.
Why?
Interesting.
So,
I guess it kind of makes sense.
yeah, because remember, Saturn's got the rings of Saturn.
The rings, yeah.
And it's got Ganymede, it's got Ceres, which is quite close by as well. I think that might be a moon of Jupiter. I think it's a moon of Saturn. But already, I'm guessing people wanna kite surf the flippin' Kuiper belt and then kite surf onto the rings of Saturn. You never know.
I like this low gravity antics jump hundreds of feet. That would be sick.
Yeah.
Imagine that, just leaping across.
But then what if you don't come back down? What if you just
Yeah. So no. So here's the bigger problem. So we got a lot of surfers, especially Dan. Dan's a surfer. So if you can jump hundreds of feet, how big would that waves be?
Oh,
And remember, mass is still one thing. That amount of mass that still hits you. Now you have 100 times that size. Your body can only take so much. So.
But if there's that much pull up and there's not much gravity, then the waves they're not going to be breaking super quickly. They might they might have a super slow break. Potentially, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you will get the one person. I mean, this is the human race. There's always a Darwin Award, and somebody will probably win a Darwin Award with a 1,000-foot wave coming and smacking them in the face with it. So you never know. So that's cool questions. I mean, yeah, I like it. This is why I love this team. They always come up with cool stuff. So, a little bit of a hint. We're going to show you now why I think this is shit. So this is Gwen. This is QWQ. Gwen with questions is what is actually called from the Alibaba team. As you can see, it's the Gwen to the QWQ latest. And now I'm going to ask it. Let's say build me a simple app that blows up confetti when I click on the screen. Just build an HTML page for this. Let's see. Because everybody was talking, oh no, QWQ, the newest one, is good at coding. No, it's not. So there we go. Let's see what this thing.
You heard it first here from the head.
Yeah. Now I'll call it out. I'll call a spade a spade. So you see, this is the problem that I'm having. So it's saying blah 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 because Rue code is more based on the Claude Sonnet type of thing. So the prompts the pre-system prompts of how it's set out it's not really complex, but it's quite big, and because it also needs a tool set that needs to write out the code sections in different separate types of ways to actually write the code. So come and tell you this. I'm not even going to do any fixes here. I'm going to try and proceed again, see if it will fix itself. But I can tell you 32 billion parameters is not big enough. See there, keeps moaning, keeps breaking. So you know what? I'm going to change it. This is just Deepseek. Save, done. Now I'm going to resume the task. And now this is 631 billion parameters versus the 32 billion parameter, and this is why the bigger LLMs actually do work with this type of thing, because they have such a long context length that you could do things and they can autocorrect in that context length. Like with Gemini 2.0, Gemini 2.0 was the king at one point, and they have a 1,000,000 token context length, which is great. The problem with that is it doesn't always fix or have corrected syntax within that context length. Look at them, and then it starts writing the code. Wow, was it so damn difficult? And they say, wow, it's almost as good as Deepseek. No, it's not. These YouTubers are lying to you again. Like I said, they have to pay for cloud costs to run this thing on the cloud if they want to run it themselves, or they have to pay for some sort of cost to run this. Our cost to run this is 0. That's why we can really test it out. So yeah, that is it in a nutshell, everybody. Yeah, we're gonna speak the truth. QWQ is not as good as what you think it is. It's brilliant as a 32 billion parameter model, but practical use, I'll be honest with you, no.
Brilliant model, but definitely does not compare to the big boys that are out there.
Yeah. So please don't compare a mouse to a lion, because that's what we're doing here. Anyways, thanks everybody for tonight. Even my dog's pissed off at this thing, so he's going, ooh. But anyways, from you Dan, from you Sons, from you Francois, any last words?
Like I just said, as you can see from the questions we asked, it's the kind of answers it gave us. It understood the questions, but didn't give us, except for the Saturn question or the planet question. So that was the only one that answered quite properly. But the fact that it couldn't build a simple HTML page for the celebration when you click anywhere. And as you can see in the video, Deepseek did it in one simple command, wrote the whole page in like maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So there's no comparison.
Anything from you, Krusty? See, she's so bored of this, she's even yawning.
It doesn't even run. The first one that we did, I think, was quite fun, but I was quite disappointed to see its rhyming skills.
Yep. Anything from you, Frana? Last words?
Stay frosty.
Stay frosty.
Right. And on that note, we're calling it. Cheers, everybody. Have a good one.
Yes, guys. Until next time.